Welcome back, everyone. Today we are making candied almonds. These will be a vegan maple syrup kind of candied almond. So if you have any egg allergies, which typical candied almonds have egg whites in them, these are safe and they are vegan, like I said. So first things first is we preheated our oven to 350. And then I spread mine out in this silicone cake pan. You could also use a cookie sheet and just line it with parchment paper. But whatever you choose to do, you'll want to spread out 1.5 cups of almonds here. And then go ahead and put it in your oven. And we're going to roast these for about 10 minutes. So about halfway through, you'll want to just mix those up and we'll check back in on that. We are using raw almonds because they haven't already been toasted. We can kind of control the flavor here. So 350, 1.5 cups of almonds, throw those in the oven and we'll check halfway. Okay, so our first 5 minutes are up. So I'm just gonna open this and move some of these around a little bit. You can see they're just getting a little more brown now. So I just want to kind of toss these around. If you have a better way of flipping them evenly, definitely go with that. But and then we'll put these back in for another 5 minutes here, just to get them nicely toasted here. And then once we do that, we will start on the candying part. So you can see some of the ingredients we'll need is we have our sugar, we have cinnamon, we have an oil, so you can use a liquid version of, like, you can melt coconut oil if you want, and use an olive oil, whatever your choice of oil is. This is olive oil that we have here. We're going to use some vanilla, some maple syrup. We actually have the Tree's Knees butter maple syrup. This is kind of a newer company at the time of posting, but it is vegan and gluten-free. They also have a spicy one, so we might try nuts with that a different time. And then some salt. So we have that so far, and we'll check back in when we're done roasting. Okay, so our 10 minutes are up now, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the almonds out of the oven here. So they are actually quite a bit more browned, obviously, than when we put them in. And then I went ahead and got a little bit started on this. You can kind of see, I just put our vanilla in here. You can't see because there's not very much, but it'll be 1 teaspoon of this pure vanilla extract. And then we're going to continue by putting 2 tablespoons of our maple syrup in there. So there's 1, 2. It is nice with actual maple syrup because it's thin enough that you can put it in there, whereas a lot of the other flavored syrups you get, they're really thick and corn syrupy, and it's just probably a little bit better for you to have the natural syrup. Although this one does have some artificial flavoring in it because it's vegan, so they don't put real butter flavor in there. After we do that, we're going to do our 2 teaspoons of water. I just grabbed a cup of water so I can measure here. Again, we're just putting this all in a saucepan right now. We have 2 teaspoons of water, followed by a teaspoon of oil. Alright, so we got our teaspoon of oil in there. And then finally we will put 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon in there for some extra flavor. And once we have all of that in, we're actually going to take our, don't touch your pan, that's kind of stupid to do. Even the silicone ones are still pretty warm. We're just going to take these and dump them into our saucepan here. You can definitely use a smaller one. This is just kind of my standard go-to size here. But we are going to do that over medium heat here. And just mix this all together. We want to get the almonds nice and coated. We'll kind of bring this up to a little bit of a boil. I don't know if you want to say simmer. There's not a ton of liquid in here. I'm actually going to adjust you so you can see a little bit better what we're doing in there. So, again, we're just mixing this all up, and then we want to basically just continue stirring until all the liquid is gone. While we are waiting for that, you can grab another bowl like I have back here, and we're going to add some sugar and salt to that. So we'll want 3 tablespoons of sugar, and of course I used up my tablespoon, so I'm going to go grab my half tablespoon here. So I'll be doing 6 half tablespoons into my bowl here. And this is just to toss them in after you're done. So you could use a coconut sugar or a raw cane sugar. And realistically, you don't have to coat them in sugar. They'll just be a little bit stickier and not quite as similar to your traditional candied almonds if you don't coat them. But you'll still get that hard maple coating. Again, we'll just want to keep stirring these periodically until all the liquid is gone. In addition to our sugar over here, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just to kind of bring out the flavor a little bit. And it doesn't have to be exact because this is just what's going over top. But I'm going to grab a fork and just kind of mix that up a little bit as well, so we don't get one that's super salty and one that's just sugar. Another thing you can prepare is you'll want a second baking sheet with parchment paper, or I have another kind of silicone pan that I'm going to use to let these harden, because once we toss them in the sugar, we'll want to lay them out to cool. So we can start getting some of our, I'd recommend just starting to clean up as you go and then just check back in to stir periodically. You can see it's warming up and we kind of have a simmer going in here. So keep stirring. I'll check back in when we're closer so you don't have to just watch me sitting here stirring, but it shouldn't be more than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so we're getting pretty close here. You can see there's not really a whole lot of liquid. It's starting to just stick to the bottom, sort of, and you got this nice kind of gooey texture going on. So then we have our bowl of sugar and salt here. We're going to begin transferring them over. Might give it just another second, try and soak up any remaining liquid we have there. And then I don't know if I'll do these all at once. I might, just to try and get them all stuck in there until I don't run out of sugar. But you could do them in batches too if you wanted to. So once we have that, you can see it's a pretty thick mixture there. We're just going to take this and start putting it in the sugar. You might want a bigger bowl so you can actually toss them. I'm just going to grab a spoon to move the sugar around. I like getting all this extra maple syrup vanilla mixture in there. Just makes them extra kind of clumpy, but obviously do whatever you prefer for texture. But said we'll just kind of mix these in here. Use a bigger bowl, you can actually toss them, but I didn't plan ahead with that. And I don't mind doing this because then it uses up all the sugar typically anyway. These aren't going to be super uniform, but most candied almonds aren't totally uniform. They're a little bit clumpy. But after we kind of toss them, you can see there's a good coating of sugar on all of these. I'm actually going to take my pan here, just pan over a little bit so we don't have to work over a hot stove here. Pan over, or once we have these mixed in, we're just going to go ahead and spread them out in here to let them cool. They feel rather soft right now, but these will definitely harden up as they cool, so I would not recommend eating them until they are totally cool. If you want, you can just scrape this over the top if you feel like you're missing sugar. But this is a pretty quick, under a half-hour way to make some candied almonds, and these are a really good, just kind of a fun treat to have, whether you're having like a cocktail mix or you want to give someone a gift. You could easily make these and then just bag them up in cute little bags or a jar or something. Or they're a really great snack, high in protein, obviously fairly high in sugar, so don't do too many, but that is what they look like. So once they cool, they'll be done and we can package them up. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, like I said, thank you so much and have a great day. If you want a printable recipe of this, head over to the blog. There's a link in the info card above or in the video description below. Thanks.